Welcome back to Suffer with Me. I know you guys it's been a minute. I've had a lot of people reach out and they're just like, "Dude, when's the next podcast episode coming out?" I really enjoyed the first 5. I think this will be episode 6, and I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I write stuff down. I came up with all these episodes, what I'm going to do, yada yada, and I was just planning out too much. I wanted it to be perfect. I got all this equipment. I'm like, oh, I'm going to make this production so much better. That's what the wait's been. But I came up with these episodes. I wanted to do all this research, and I have. You can see some of these notes. I pulled out some old books, some scripture, a lot of things to just make the episodes great. And that's my plan, is to make them great. But this first episode back, the main idea, what's been on my mind the most, has been this idea of the vice of perfectionism. I constantly struggle with this because it's not black and white, right? The things that we do are never going to be perfect. But that doesn't mean we don't put our best foot forward. So this episode, that's what I wanted to talk about, because I think it's just been a perfect theme for these last few months. I've not been putting out episodes because I wanted them to be so perfect. I wanted the production to be right, the camera to be right, the audio to be the best. Before I was recording with my headphones, these old wired headphones that have a microphone on them. And I was like, I gotta do better now. I need to do better than what I have been doing. But at the same time, uploading a not perfect episode is so much better than no episode at all. And that's the hard truth. This is a theme that's been extremely personal for me in this exact setting, like the podcast episode setting, but it applies to so many other areas of my life, and I'm sure that most of you can relate to that. Running, just the easiest example. No one wants to start running. Oh, well, I need the perfect plan. I need the perfect shoes. I need the perfect route. The weather's got to be perfect. No, it doesn't, man. Grab the shoes you have, go the distance you think you're capable of going, and start. Just start. Just do the damn thing. That's what's holding you back. It's not all these little things. Nothing is going to be perfect. It just never is. Okay? Joe Rogan has the biggest podcast in the world. He's never made a perfect episode. He never will make a perfect episode. He'll make amazing ones. But the reason that he has an amazing podcast and he's making amazing episodes is because he's done it so many times. Volume negates luck, right? Volume negates luck. What does that mean? That means the best way to get lucky is to increase your volume. And when you increase your volume, you're also going to be improving the quality that you're making it at. You learn as you go, but you have to start to learn. So that's really what I wanted this episode to be about. I'm not going off a script here. I'm really just speaking from my heart. I've got episodes in the future that are going to be more in depth about, assumptions, not making assumptions. That's what this episode was going to be until I really flipped the script on myself, and I was like, nah, I just got to talk about this. I'd much rather talk about the things that are currently happening in my life rather than, when something's like that heavily weighing on me, I feel like I need to share it. Because, the whole point of why I do this, why I make content, why I feel it's important to share these things is because I actually got this idea from Chris Williamson. You should check out his podcast, Modern Wisdom. It's probably my favorite podcast ever. he just talks about, before I upload something, I don't ask myself, will my audience like this? He asks himself, would I like this? Is this something that me now, or even me, 3 years ago would have wanted to hear? Is this something that I would have needed to hear? And I think the answer for me is yes. Everything that I try to do is for someone who's in a similar situation that I am, or was in a similar situation that I was in. So, perfectionism. There's so many levels of it. It applies to every area you're in. The running, the diet, the lifting. And it can slow you down. But I think the biggest thing to fix the problem of perfectionism is to take action, right? Action. Do the thing. Just do the damn thing. That's the hardest part. You'll be ahead of 80 to 90% of people if you just start doing the thing. Now, when I say that, like I mentioned earlier, it's not black and white, all right? There's gray area. So you find the fine line, the space between doing the thing and making good quality, okay? That's this big area right in between. Everyone wants to be perfect, but you can't put out crap. You can't do crap. You can't, you have to be paying attention to the quality of whatever it is that you're doing. If you're just going to the gym, yes, that's the first step is getting there. You've got to do the thing. You've got to buy the membership and go there. But when you get there, then you start perfecting your craft, right? You start dialing in on your split. You dial in on your form, all of these things. But if you've ever done that, you know that comes with time. It will happen. But it won't happen unless you go there and you start. So don't let perfection just hold you back like it has me for a little while here. I've started noticing I care a lot less about being perfect than I do just being myself. My content has really switched up. I used to just look at what other people were doing and I'm like, that's what I need to do. Like they're killing it. That's the way. And the problem with that is that's what they're doing. And maybe, hopefully, that's like genuinely them. That's their authentic selves. But if I did what they're doing in a non-authentic way, I'd be a fraud. Maybe not even in your eyes, but in my own eyes. If I look at someone and follow a blueprint step for step, what they're doing, and I just, that becomes me, all that I do, I can't even rightfully take credit for that in my heart because I might have been able to fool everyone else, but I can't fool myself. I know that that's not me. So I'll never feel satisfied. So it's only when you start truly doing what you are called to do, feels right to do, what's you, that's when things are really going to feel satisfying for you. So, yeah, I just figured I'd get on here and yap because I am sick of beating around the bush. I needed to get an episode out, and this is the most valuable lesson that I've learned in the last 4 months or so. So thank you guys for listening. I'm just going to keep rolling these out. My idea in my head is I want to do a podcast episode every Friday. I don't know why, that just came to mind. I think it's doable. That's kind of one of the things that I'm going to be talking about in a future episode, actually, is goal setting. What does good goal setting look like, right? Jordan Peterson talks about if you're starting at ground zero. If you slay or if you build a dragon or a goal, he refers to it as a dragon. I actually like the visual. If you think of it as in you're building a goal that's too big, or a dragon that's too big that you can't slay, you're going to feel defeated. If your goal was to start running and you said, I'm going to run 10 miles every single day, unless you're a freak of nature, you're going to fail. Okay? You built a dragon that's too big, you can't slay that dragon. But if you decided, I'm going to start running a 1 mile a day, that's a dragon you can slay. And when you slay that dragon, it's going to boost your confidence, and you're going to be able to slay a bigger dragon, 2 miles a day, 5 miles a day, eventually 10 miles a day. But you can't start too big. So I'm going to start with 1 episode a week every Friday. And who knows? Maybe that dragon's going to be a little bit too big for me. I think it's the right size for now. But maybe I slay it, and maybe I got to make a bigger one, right? 2 episodes a week. Who knows? But we're going to start with 1 a week. Friday seems like a good day. I've always got a little extra downtime, and it gives me the whole week to prep for it. And I'm hopefully going to have plenty of time to make some good quality episodes. I like to keep these kind of short. 10 to 15, 20 minutes. Who knows? Maybe I'll rant in the future, but this one's going to be right about 12 to 15. So, again, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'm sorry for the wait, but perfection has been a vice, and it will continue to be a vice. That doesn't mean that I'm perfect now, but yeah, this has been a big thing that's been on my heart, and I figured I wanted to share it with you guys because I'm sure I'm not alone in that. I know it's tough. It's really tough, but this episode is going to be on Spotify. I'm probably going to throw it up on my YouTube as well. Hopefully the camera works. I hope that it's worked this whole time. I think it has. And hopefully this microphone sounds a little bit better than my headphones have been the last few episodes. But love you guys. Tune in Fridays. Going to be like Friday mid-morning, afternoon. But love you. Peace.